was a beautiful sunny day. Peppa and her friend Susie were playing outside in the sunshine. "I love your crown, Peppa," said Susie. "May I try it on and pretend that I'm a queen?" she asked. "Of course," answered Peppa. "It will fit you perfectly." She took her crown off and handed it to Susie to try on. Mummy Pig appeared and said to Peppa, "Be careful with your crown, Peppa. It's very precious. You don't want to break or lose it." "Don't worry, Mummy," said Peppa. "I'll look after it." And with that, Mummy Pig disappeared into the castle. Susie took the crown and placed it on her head. "Oh, I feel like a beautiful queen," she smiled. She didn't want to damage it, so she took it off and placed it on the grass beside her. Just then, Zoe, their friend, appeared. "Hello, Zoe," said the two girls. "Would you like to see my new toys?" Peppa asked. "Oh, yes, please," replied Zoe, and the three friends disappeared into the castle. Unfortunately, they'd forgotten about the crown, and it was left outside with no one looking after it. Oh dear! Now there's going to be trouble. Look who's coming round the corner. It's Tom Moss, and I'm afraid he's spotted the crown. I hope he won't steal it. Too late! It's already on his funnel. It's going to be difficult getting that back again. Peppa soon realised they'd forgotten about the crown, and the girls raced outside to retrieve it. But oh dear! All they saw was the back of Tom Moss disappearing into the forest. "Oh my! What are we going to do?" sighed Peppa. Just then, who should be chuffing around the corner but Thomas? "Hello, Peppa," he said. "Oh dear, you look sad. Whatever is the matter?" he asked, and the three friends told Thomas all about it. "Peppa, we must retrieve your crown. Hop on board," he requested. So Peppa climbed onto Thomas's truck and off they went. "Be careful, Peppa." Peppa and Thomas eventually arrived near Tom Moss's lair. "I can see him!" shouted Peppa excitedly. "He's hiding in that tunnel. Let's go after him." "Oh, I'm not so sure now," replied Thomas. "I've heard rumours that he has some scary monsters guarding him. We must be careful, or they could eat us alive." Peppa climbed off Thomas's truck. "Come on, Thomas," she said. "I don't believe in scary monsters." But just then, something jumped out in front of them. "It's only Mike," she smiled. Suddenly, another monster appeared. "Sally!" she laughed. "I haven't seen you in ages." Just then, a third monster appeared in front of them. "Boo! Boo!" "Oh, Art!" she smiled. "Where have you been hiding these days?" "Thomas, these are my friends. They won't hurt anyone. You don't need to be afraid of them." "Sally," she asked, "would you be able to get my crown back for me? Tom Moss has stolen it and he's hiding in that tunnel." "Oh, I'm sorry, Peppa," he answered. "I'm a little afraid of Tom Moss. If I help you, he may prank me. Sorry." "Oh dear," sighed Peppa. "How am I ever going to get my crown back?" she sobbed. Just then, there was a flash of twinkling magical lights, and there stood a very pretty fairy. "I think you are in need of a little fairy magic," she smiled, and blew some fairy dust into the air. The dust swirled around Tom Moss, and then suddenly the crown vanished from his funnel and landed on Peppa's head. "Oh, thank you so much," she said gratefully to the fairy, whose name was Iridessa. "You're very welcome," she smiled. "That Tom Moss is a very naughty engine." and then she vanished into thin air. "Quick, Thomas," shouted Peppa, "let's catch Tom Moss," and she climbed back onto Thomas's truck. Tom Moss saw what was happening and made a very speedy getaway. Once again, he was just too quick to be caught. What will he get up to next time?
The fair was in town on Sodor and everyone was having fun. James, on the other hand, was busy collecting sheep. Farmer McColl had a lovely new pen for them and James was moving them to it. They filed on one by one and off they went. On the way, they ran into Peppa Pig. "Hi James," she said, "I'm meeting Pocoyo and Ellie at the fair. Please could I have a lift?" "Of course you can," replied James. So Peppa climbed aboard. When they arrived, Peppa greeted Pocoyo and Ellie, but while James stopped, the sheep escaped. "Oh no," said Peppa, "the sheep have gone." They ran all over the fair. One sheep even stole George's ice cream. Peppa chased this sheep back into the truck. "Well done, Peppa," said James. "Just 5 more sheep to find." Ellie then chased another 2. Then Masha and the bear chased the 2 on the big wheel. How many sheep have we got? Asked Peppa. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh no, we're missing one, said Peppa. There it is, noticed Pocoyo. He walked over to the end of the slide and waited. He chased it into the truck. Thank you everyone, said James, and he rushed off. He arrived at the new pen and the sheep jumped off. They loved it. James then headed back to his shed. It has been a long day. Good morning, Thomas. You're here at the pumpkin patch very early this morning. Are you looking for a pumpkin for your forest? No? Then you must be up to something. Go on, go back to your forest. Later that day, Peppa Pig and her friend Pedro Pony were busy helping Thomas and his friends decorate Timna's sheds, ready for Halloween. There, said Peppa, that looks good, but I'm sure we're missing something. Well, we haven't got Ghostly Percy, said Henry. I think we need some walking skeletons, said Spencer. What about a pumpkin, said Gordon. That's it, said Peppa, we need a pumpkin. Thomas then said he knew of a pumpkin patch they could go to, and he steamed out of the sheds. Peppa and Pedro hopped on and off they went. At the pumpkin patch, Peppa and Pedro went looking for the right pumpkin. This one's nice, said Peppa. A bit small though, said Pedro. Then they turned around and saw the biggest pumpkin they had ever seen. Wow. There, that's the one we need. They went over and tried to lift it, but it was far too heavy for them. Don't worry, said Thomas. I have a friend who can help us lift it onto my truck. A few moments later, a car motored up. Wait a moment, said Peppa. That's Superman. Superman came over to the pumpkin and lifted it into the air, all on his own. Walked over to the truck and put it down. Thank you so much, said Peppa and Pedro. Thomas thanked Superman for coming as well. Peppa and Pedro got back on Thomas and off they went with a giant pumpkin. Back at the sheds, Thomas's tipping truck and a little help from Peppa and Pedro got the pumpkin rolling on the grass, and it came to a rest in exactly the right place. Perfect, said Peppa, and they stood back and admired their work. "Is that your watch ticking?" said Peppa to Pedro. "No," said Pedro. "I haven't got a watch." "Oh, I wonder what it is." Then there was a loud explosion, and pieces of pumpkin flew everywhere. Laughter could be heard coming from behind the sheds. Peppa looked, and there in the distance she saw a green engine. "Tom lost the prank engine. What did you do to our pumpkin?" "I'll chase him," said Thomas, and he rushed out of the sheds and headed for Tom. Tom saw him coming and made a run for it back to his forest. Now we know why he was at the pumpkin patch, don't we?
It was a lovely sunny autumn day and everybody was having fun. Zoe and Danny were at the cafe enjoying a delicious cookie and a strawberry milkshake. Pocoyo, Candy and Peppa were at the duck pond sailing their toy boats. Rebecca, Susie and Miss Rabbit were having fun on the swings. And Emily and Pedro were busy on the slide. Mummy Pig was enjoying the fresh air and sunshine when Grandma Pig hurried out of the house looking a little worried. "Mummy Pig, have you seen George?" she asked. "We were supposed to be making some chocolate cupcakes, but he's vanished and I can't see him anywhere. Did he come outside?" "Oh dear, I haven't seen him at all," said Mummy Pig. "He can't have gone far. I'll have a look for him." So she bustled over to the cafe to ask Zoe and Danny if they had seen him. "No, we're sorry we haven't seen him here," answered Danny. Mummy Pig then hurried over to the duck pond. "Have you seen George?" she asked Peppa. "No, sorry Mummy," said Peppa. "He hasn't been here." "Have you tried the swings?" she suggested. So Mummy Pig went to the swings. "George hasn't been here," answered Miss Rabbit. "We haven't seen him at all." Mummy Pig was starting to get worried. The slide was the last place to look, but when she asked Emily, she got the same response. "Oh dearie me, what are we going to do?" she said sadly. Just then, Pedro, who was standing at the top of the slide, started shouting excitedly. "I can see him!" he exclaimed and pointed to the top of the house. Naughty George had climbed on top of the roof. "George!" she shouted, "how did you get up there?" "Don't move, we'll try to get you down." A large crowd had started to form in front of the house. "Help!" cried George. "I'm stuck." "I'll get a ladder," said Pocoyo, and off he went. He soon returned, but the ladder was not long enough to reach George. "I could get my helicopter," suggested Miss Rabbit. "What a great idea!" "Can I come too?" asked Peppa. "Yes, of course," agreed Mummy Pig. And so Miss Rabbit and Peppa climbed into the helicopter and off they went. Soon the helicopter arrived at the house with the winch lowered, and it hovered above George. George was securely tied into the harness, and the helicopter gently carried George safely down to the ground to a big cheer from the crowd. "Oh, thank goodness you're safe!" exclaimed Mummy Pig. "But you must not climb on top of the house again. It's very dangerous and very naughty," she scolded. "I'm sorry, Mummy," said George quietly. "I'll never do that again. It was far too scary." And the crowd all gave a sigh of relief. Thank you for watching our video. To see more, please click on any of these clips. And if you haven't already subscribed, go on, do so now. And don't forget to give us a like. See you soon!